Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 57. And for this evening's stream, we're going to be reacting to a new Paramore song that's been released. Now, I have not looked up any info about this. The only thing I know is that Paramore recently put out a new music video. I don't know if this means they've got a new album coming out. I don't know if this means they're getting back together. You know, they're going to be, performing again, putting out music. I have no clue what to expect. So this is going to be a first-time reaction. Now, for those of you who know me, my style of music is a bit more metalcore, but I enjoy a lot of different styles of music, and definitely anything particularly in the rock genre. So that's going to include, alternative rock, punk rock, that kind of thing, pop punk, sort of like what Paramore's got. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out and talking about them. But before we get into that, we're going to give some time for some people to show up. So I'm going to play a song while we're waiting for people to show up. But for those of you who are tuning in, don't be shy, say hello, and let me know what you've been up to. How's your week been? Have you seen any good movies lately? What are you listening to right now? Maybe some new music you've discovered or some old favorites. And are you playing any video games right now? Just let me know what you've been up to. Let me know how your week's been. Say hello. And while we're waiting for more people to show up, I'm going to play a song, and then we will dive into the reaction. So here we go. This one's called Say That It's Over.
Smile so deceptive that it almost looks real. Well, it must be hard to fake what you do not really feel. You're hiding, I know it. Tell me what's on your mind. I only wish to help. Won't you let me back inside? Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one last time. I promise I'll help you. If only you'll let me back inside. Let me inside. Your face shows no reaction when I call out your name. Your presence like a ghost. You seem so far away. And you know that I love you, but the words seem to have died. I just want this to end. Please let me back inside. Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one last time. I promise I'll help you. If only you'll let me back inside. Let me inside. Your eyes, just look at me when I look at you, because you must realize you're barely holding on and I'm holding tight. Would you just please try? Don't give in, you have to fight. Why won't you hear my cry? I don't wanna say goodbye. Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one last time. I promise I'll help you. If only you'll let me back inside. Say that it's over. Tell me the truth just one last time. I promise I'll help you. If only you'll let me back inside. Say that it's over. And I don't wanna hear another lie. I just wanna help you. Please won't you let me back inside?
Thank you. Stan, good to have you in the chat. I am doing well. How about yourself, sir? Let's see. As far as kind of what I've been up to this week, I'm trying to think if I've seen any good movies. I did recently watch Peter Pan, the the classic Peter Pan movie from the 1950s, early Disney stuff. And the reason I was watching that was because it's Halloween's coming up, and I've got a buddy named Chris who's got a skate brand called Beautiful Skateboards. And for the past 3 years, he and I have been collaborating. And each Halloween, I'll dress up as a character and do a skate part. And at first it was just kind of like, he was sort of inviting me along. He was getting a few guys to dress up in costumes, just to have content for Instagram. And so I was like, oh, that sounds fun. And it was kind of nice because I love Halloween, but when you get older, you don't have as much reason to dress up for it. So it was kind of like, oh, this is sweet. I get to dress up for Halloween and get to skateboard. But it was a lot of fun. And so then, the next year I was like, hey, would you want to do that again? And it's sort of since become a tradition with us. And, each year I dress up as a character and I try to outdo my previous skate part. So this year, he and I, we're going to kind of collab a little bit. And thank you, Stan. Appreciate that. We're going to collaborate a little bit, and I'm going to be Peter Pan, and he's going to be Peter Pan's shadow. So, I'm going to do a few skate tricks, but we might have a little, like a tiny little narrative in there of me trying to catch my shadow or whatever. So, but it was kind of his idea. I actually hadn't seen Peter Pan in a long time, and so I was like, maybe let me watch that again so I can just kind of get into character, So we'll see how that goes. But watch the movie. It's actually quite good. I would describe it as chocolate. And what I mean by that is this analogy might only work for me and some people, but like chocolate is, amazing. Chocolate tastes good. It's really good. Like, who doesn't like chocolate? But chocolate's not my favorite flavor. And so, like, if somebody offers me chocolate, it's like, sure, I'll take some chocolate. And yeah, it'll taste good. But if I were to go somewhere, like to an ice cream store, I'm probably never going to pick chocolate. Not because it's not good. It's just there are other flavors I like better. It's not, what I go after. And so that's kind of how I would describe the movie a little bit. Like, when I watch it, it's got great performances, from the characters. It's a fun, adventurous children's story. And, it's just well done. And I like that classic animation style. But, it's even though it's enjoyable, I can't say I would just watch the movie on my own, except for if I'm, researching for skateboard parts. But, so that's what I've been up to. But however you've all been and whatever you've been up to, feel free to share that. Let's see here. Right now, Stan, it looks like it's just me and you, so I might dive into another song in a moment here, and before we get into our reaction. But Stan, let me ask you real quick, are you familiar with Paramore? Do you know who this band is? Have you heard any of their songs? I'll share a little bit of what I know about them. They've been around for a while. They were really big when I was in high school, so definitely popular at that time, and that was a good time because a lot of my friends were introducing me to a lot of cool music. It seemed like, and it was funny because it seemed like a lot of times whenever we discovered music, we all sort of discovered it at the same time, because that was kind of when YouTube was just getting started and becoming a thing. So I'd be on YouTube and I'd discover this really cool band, and then later I'd talk to my friend and find out that he discovered the band too. And so that's just how things were back then. And but Paramore was definitely one of those bands, and Paramore's got a really good track record. They just write good songs. Like, I can't think of one song that is like a bad song. Like, wow, that's just really weak or lame or mediocre. Now that's not to say that every song is amazing, but they're very consistent. Like, every song they put out is super solid, or just really good. And and so they're probably one of my favorite alternative pop punk bands. I definitely I don't know. They just write really good songs, and they've been very consistent. I know they're, let's see, I'm trying to think how many albums they put out. When I say their first three, what I'm thinking of is, man, what's the first one called? I feel like it's Falling or something. It's the one with the couch, the red couch in the woods or whatever. That's the art. I can't remember the name of that album, but that album, and then Riot, and then I think there's actually two more. There was, man, I'm drawing a blank. Probably should have researched, refreshed myself. What were these albums called? I know they had a self-titled album, but I think they had one before that, if I remember, unless the self-titled one is, I don't know. So I think they had those four, and then they had a fifth one. And what I was going to say is that those first four were kind of in the same ballpark. They were in that pop punk kind of style, and yeah, each album was just really consistent, really good. The last album that they put out, that was the only one where they really tried something different. That's when they kind of did this sort of 80s pop kind of sound. And, I mean, it was really cool. It was actually done really well. I need to listen to it again because when I first heard it, there were a couple songs I liked from it. But it was definitely... I mean, I feel like I went into it with the right expectation because I knew, like, I had heard it was a different sound, and so I knew going into it, you can't just be like, all right, this better sound like old Paramore, because it's like, no, they were trying something different. And usually when that's the case with an artist, I almost try to pretend I'm listening to a different artist. Like, so in that case, not listening to Paramore, but going in and thinking, oh, here's this, this band with this 80s pop sound, let's see what this sounds like. And basing it off of that instead of having this preconceived expectation from what I'd heard before. Because in that case, you might be disappointed, but if you're expecting it as sort of something different, then, it could be a pleasant surprise. You can be like, hey, this actually sounds really good, even though it's not the sound that I know Paramore for. This is great sound. So I'll need to check out that album again. I know there's a couple songs I liked from it, but yeah, we'll see. Let's see, doing good, cooking dinner. Yep, sounds good. What you cooking up, Stan? I haven't had dinner yet. I don't get dinner till after these streams, so I'll get something to eat when I get home. That idea sounds awesome. Which idea are you talking about? So, because I've just been talking for a little bit. Oh, the Peter Pan and Shadow idea. I'm sure that's what you're referencing. Because I get to talking, and then by the time you comment, I'm like, wait, what idea did I mention? Which idea? So. All right, cool. Well, Stan, let me know what you're cooking for dinner. Anyone tuning in, don't be shy, say hello. And, hey, Daniel, good to have you. Hope you can hang out for the evening. We are, let's see, I think it's just you and Stan right now. I was just about to dive into another song, just trying to give a little more time for people to show up for the stream, or sorry, for the reaction segment. But Daniel, how you doing? How's your week been? What you been up to, man? I think, I tell you what, let me know what you've been up to. I'm going to go ahead and dive into another song for you guys. And if more people show up, great. If it's just the three of us, then we'll go ahead and dive into the reaction segment. But Daniel, let me ask you real quick. Are you familiar with Paramore? Do you know, have you listened to much of their material? Are you a fan? Have you not paid much attention to them? What are your what's your experience, I guess, involving Paramore? Yeah, so let me know, and I'm going to go ahead and dive into another song right here. Give me just a moment. All right. Oh, great. Daniel's on vacation. Awesome. Now, is it like, are you away somewhere? Have you gone somewhere for vacation, or is it more of a staycation where you're just off for a while and you're just at home? And if you are somewhere, where you traveling, and do you have any particular plans? I know for me, let's see. I have heard of Paramore. Name sounds very familiar. Is it fronted by a girl? That's correct. The lead vocalist is Hayley Williams, and you might have seen her. She's kind of known. She kind of has this iconic orange hair. She's changed it over the years. At one point, she went blonde for a while, and I haven't seen this video yet, so I don't know what she looks like right now. I don't know if she's gone back to her orange hair or if she's blonde now or what. But yeah, Hayley Williams is the vocalist for the band. But yeah, we're gonna dive into that in a bit. I was going to say, that's awesome you're on vacation. My favorite thing on vacation, there's a few things I like to do. I love swimming, so if there's a pool where I'm at, I just love to get some swimming in. And honestly, just having some time off, I love, I'll bring my laptop and my interface and my guitar, and I like just recording music, It's funny because when you're working on a career towards music, sometimes you forget that it's fun, Sometimes you're so focused on like, oh, I got to get this done, I got to get this work, and there's other things. It's not all just creativity. You have to handle like the business side of things, and you have to have a plan and a structure, and things like that. But when it's just like, no deadlines, you're just taking time to just be experimental and just kind of see what you come up with. Like that's a lot of fun. So I enjoy doing that. Swimming, trying to think what else. And skating if there's a chance, Just having time to do the things you love, That's the best thing about vacation. I'll get to y'all's chat in a moment. I'm going to dive into a song here. This one's an instrumental. This one's called Ascension. Morning. If you're just joining us, don't be shy. Say hello. Let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, so, yep, Daniel says, at home right now, had to work today, but we'll be headed to Alaska next week. That is awesome. I've never been to Alaska, but I hear it's beautiful, so that's awesome. I hope you have a good trip. Have you been to Alaska before, or is this going to be a first time for you? Stan is saying hello to Daniel. Stan, what's up? Stan's commenting, yep, Peter Pan in a shadow. I don't really know what to call it. I'm making bow tie noodles, and I made some burger with taco seasoning and lots of Velveeta cheese. Sounds pretty good. So, Daniel, just to catch you up to what Stan is talking about there. Halloween's coming up, and I'm collaborating with a buddy of mine. I think I've talked about this before. And let's see. So I dress up as a character, and this year we're kind of having a little... kind of like he's going to be a part of it too. He's not just going to film. I think he's going to be in it some. So I'm going to be Peter Pan, and he's going to be my shadow. So there's going to be a little narrative in there of me trying to get my shadow back. And then Stan was just telling me what he was cooking for dinner. So sweet. Went last year. Very beautiful place. Don't have any food to cook. I think I might have to order pizza. Let me ask you, Daniel, what's your go-to pizza? I mean, pizza's hard to mess up. I mean, pretty much any pizza is good. But yeah, Daniel, what's your favorite? Stan, what's your favorite kind of pizza? I definitely, again, I mean, I could pretty much eat any, but I gotta go Pizza Hut, especially like the stuffed crust. I kind of like big, like thick doughy bread, or crust or whatever. And I feel like Pizza Hut has some pretty thick pizza. I like that. Sometimes like really thin can be kind of pleasant, that can be kind of nice, but definitely I like thick pizza. Papa John's is pretty good too, especially the dipping sauce that they have. And then of course, that's like your order pizza. You could go to actual restaurants, and there's some places that have like really good, I don't know what you'd call it, but just very high quality pizza. So but yeah, for me, I'd have to go Pizza Hut. All right, so I think we're going to dive into our reaction segment in a moment here, but Daniel, just to catch you up to speed. So Paramore, they're kind of an alternative rock, pop-punk band, or at least they were back when I was in high school. That's kind of when they were maybe at the height of things. That's when I discovered them back in high school, and they've been very consistent. They just write really good songs. And all their albums have been really good. Now, the last album they did, which I think came out, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was way back, like 2015, 2016 or something like that, or if it was a little more recent. It might have been more like 2017 or 2018. I can't remember, but it was a few years ago that they put out their last album. And with that one, they did go in kind of a different direction. They went with more of a, like an 80s pop kind of thing. And I need to listen to that album again, but... I know there's a few songs on it I liked. I think my initial impression, I think it was okay. But I know you definitely have to go into it not expecting old Paramore. You have to go into it like thinking, okay, almost like you're listening to a different band. Like this is a band with an 80s pop sound. Let's see if I like it. Daniel says, I prefer Domino's or Potter's Pizza. Our Pizza Hut is not very good. Frozen pizza, I prefer Virtuoso, pepperoni, and pesto. Those are good. Yeah, those sound good. Can't say I've had Potter's Pizza before. I don't know if we have that in our area or not. I'll have to keep an eye out for something like that. But yeah, so Paramore's kind of a pop-punk, alternative rock kind of thing. And I quite enjoy their music. They just so what's happened here is they just put out a new music video, and I haven't looked anything up, so I don't know if this means like Paramore is back and they're going to put out a new album soon. I don't know if this was just like a reunion get together or something, and they don't have any plans beyond this. Like I'm not sure what any of this means, but we're going to check it out. So let me just make sure you guys are ready. Daniel, Stan, if y'all can give me a thumbs up that y'all are ready, and we'll dive into the reaction. But just a couple things. I will say, as far as some of the music I chose, I'm kind of glad you're sticking around, Daniel, because since Paramore is more of a kind of pop punk alternative rock style. I tried to choose some songs for this evening set that were a little more in the ballpark of that. So that's why I did Say That It's Over. And even though my stuff's more metalcore, I definitely still have some influences from some of those punk bands. And so I am planning to perform Let's Start Again, because that is basically in the same, that's very similar to the style that Paramore is in. And then I've got kind of a softer song to do at the end. But yeah, just give me that thumbs up and we'll dive into the reaction here. Anyone else who's joining us, don't be shy, say hello. Let me know if... yeah, let me know if you've heard the new song yet. Daniel's ready. Just waiting for Stan. Hopefully he's there. Stan might be trying to cook. It might be hard to operate and cook at the same time. But yep, cool. Daniel's gonna be hanging out. Yep, Staniel. Yeah, Stan. Yeah, just give that thumbs up and we'll dive into it. So. Just because, yeah, it's nice. And now I do have things set up. So last week we had a stream, and it went pretty well, but I couldn't see the chat while I was reacting. So now I've got things set up in a way where I should be able to watch it, and I can see you guys commenting as you're watching it too. So feel free to, share your thoughts as the video is playing. Now, this is kind of interesting because Daniel and Stan, if you haven't heard this band before, I have no clue what to expect here, so I don't know if this is going to be like the best first song for you guys to hear, but either way, we'll check it out and we'll see what we think, and yeah, when Daniel and Stanley are around, Staniel, yeah, exactly, yep, so, yep, together they are unstoppable. So, hey, we got Pablo too. Hey, Pablo, doing well. How about yourself, man? We're just getting ready to dive into the reaction segment. Pablo, have you heard of Paramore? That's what we're checking out. Paramore just put out a new song, new music video. I have not watched it. I'm about to. And I have no clue what to expect. So we'll see what happens. But, man, well, hopefully Stan is still out there. Since we got Daniel and Pablo, I think we're going to go into it. So, yeah, hopefully Stanley will be there. I'll go ahead and get things set up. Work. Yep. Pablo says he needs a vacation. Daniel is going on a vacation. Daniel just said he's going to be going to Alaska soon. So, yeah, Pablo, you need to follow Daniel's lead and get yourself a vacation. Stanley's not picky. He likes all pizza, just no anchovies. Yeah. Okay, Pablo. So, yeah, Pablo says he knows Paramore, and he commented old band, and, yeah, I don't know, did you know that Paramore just put out a new song? Yeah, Daniel is lucky, yeah, but I'm sure he's earned it, so it's a little more than lucky, maybe fortunate, but, yeah, so that's what we're checking out. This is a new song from Paramore that they just put out, and I don't know what this means. I don't know if they're getting back together. I don't know if they're putting a new album out. I have not looked up any information, so we're going to see. I'm going to bring up the window here, so you guys should be able to see that up, and I'm going to set the audio so you guys can hear it. So, yeah, let me get that set up. All right, we should be good in that department. Because, yeah, last time I watched a whole video, and the audio was not coming through. But now I've got things set up where I can see your comments. Yes, that's right, Pablo. They just put out a new song. And I don't know what it sounds like because I don't know how much you've kept up with them. A lot of their older stuff was, very pop punk, alternative rock kind of stuff. The last album they put out was more of like an 80s pop kind of thing. And it was good. It was just, different than what they'd done before. So I don't know if this is going to be a return to that, or if this is going to be a return to, what they're kind of known for, more of the pop punk stuff. So, all right, we're going to dive into it. I'm guessing, Stanley, when you say end zone, that means end zone pizza? Is that a pizza? I haven't heard of that, but I'll have to give that a try. All right, here we go. You guys should be able to see the screen. And you should be able to hear it too. So here we go. For the first time, checking out Paramore's new release. This is a song called This Is Why. And let's see what we get. Here we go. Okay, well, definitely not like punkish. All right, so this definitely kind of has like some pop feel to it. Kind of, I wouldn't describe it as 80s. That lead guitar is pretty cool. It's almost like 70s. Looks like she's got her orange hair back. So they must be going back in time because they did like 80s and now they're doing like 70s, 60s kind of stuff. So for those of you who haven't heard Paramore, this is not what they used to sound like, but I think this sounds good. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here. I like that pre-chorus. Bruno says sounds great, love the jazzy style. And Haley's a great vocalist. Yeah, that sounds good, man. Yeah, they are good musicians. They're good songwriters, too. Definitely, like it's a good head bobbing rhythm, you know? Kind of gets you bopping. She's having fun with that lipstick. Almost has a little bit of a disco rhythm to it. Pablo's really digging it. Oops. All right, let's see. I was just trying to make sure I wasn't going to skip to the next video. That might be the song, but there's a few seconds left in the video. Got this zoom in after she's drawn on her face with the lipstick. I wonder what they shot this on, because this... Cool, cool. All right. Let's see here. What do we got going on in the chat? Stanley, I'm not sure that, I feel like you are really delayed. Because Stan just commented, I'm ready, and the song just ended, so, I mean, okay. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Daniel says, sounds good, but not really his thing. Yeah, I'd have to listen to it too. Like I said, Cake by the Ocean or something. So kind of reminds him of something. I'm not sure if I know exactly what song you're referencing, but I'm sure I'd know it if I heard it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Pablo's laughing at Stan's reply because it's like right when the song ends. All right, I'm ready. Yeah. Cool. So Pablo's digging it. Loves the jazzy style. Daniel says it sounds good. Not really his thing. I think I'm kind of on the fence myself. We're gonna check out some older Paramore too, because that was the thing I was a little worried about. Is like for those of you who haven't heard Paramore, this is not what they always sounded like. Now I think the sound's good, and I mean it probably makes sense for them to go a different direction, I guess. But you definitely have to be kind of open-minded to it. Like I said before, it's almost like if you're gonna listen to this, you can't be expecting Paramore. It's almost like you're listening to a different band. And so I'll probably have to listen to this a couple times to see how I feel. Now, from I can tell, I think it's pretty good, but I can't tell if it's like, oh man, I love this. I would listen to this all the time. Or if it's just like, oh no, it's solid. I enjoy it. It sounds good, but I wouldn't seek out to listen to it. I'm not really sure yet, so I'll have to check it out a bit more. I'll definitely do some investigating to see if this means that they're going to be putting out a new album. I mean, I would think so. I do believe these are the original 3 members. I think they used to be a 5-piece band, vocalist, 2 guitars, bass, and a drummer. And for the past, 2 albums, including this single, maybe even the past 3 albums, I do believe it's been this trio. And so I can say the guitarist, I would imagine he is responsible for most of the songwriting, and I do think he's a really good songwriter. And obviously, they're exploring kind of a different sound now. But like I said, a lot of their older material was very consistent. Just very... they don't really put out bad songs, Maybe not every song is like a hit, but they're very consistent. Like every song is very solid usually. Pablo says it sounds quite addictive, and yeah, it's definitely got like a fun rhythm to it. So, and I think it's pretty catchy. Like I bet after a couple listens, this is going to be stuck in your head. Yeah. So while we're talking about it, Stan's hearing it for the first time. So that's really. I don't understand why that's happening. I don't understand why his comments are like super delayed. I guguess it's on his end or something, but it sounds like Stan's digging it. He likes it. But Stan, if you're catching up to this, I'll just let you know that this isn't what Paramore has always sounded like. So we'll see. Yeah, Pablo says it's in his head now. Yeah, got stuck. So, yeah, the bum 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 bum. Yep. Yeah, yeah. This is gonna be an interesting. This is gonna be a funny chat with Stan behind on everything. So, yeah. Let's see here. But anyway, we're going to check out some more Paramore in just a moment here. And I'm going to show you guys some of their older stuff. Maybe Stan needs to fast forward on your video. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's behind or something. Like, maybe it's not a delay. I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal is. We'll see. Maybe he'll be able to fix it once he catches up to us talking about it. But yeah, I'm going to play a song here. I'm actually going to play Let's Start Again, and the reason I wanted to play this song is because, as you guys know, I'm more of a metalcore artist, and after watching that video, there's not a whole lot to link between my style of music and what we just reacted to. But I think when I show you some of the old Paramore, maybe you'll hear kind of how they might have influenced my sound a little bit, especially in their melodies and their chord progressions. They're not a heavy band. They never were heavy, but they definitely had more of a rock, kind of emo, punk rock kind of sound to them. And I think some of that carries over into my music just a little bit heavier when I do it. But this is a song, when I wrote this, this is definitely more in the same ballpark as old Paramore. Pablo says, Stan, I'm talking to you from the future. This future is nice. Good to know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. We're going to check out some more Paramore in just a moment here. But I'm going to play a song for you. I'm going to play Let's Start Again. And now it was, let's see here. I was going to ask while I'm playing this song, I was going to ask, what is your favorite Paramore song or what is your favorite Paramore album. But to my knowledge, I'm not sure that anyone in the chat right now is super familiar with Paramore. It sounds like this is kind of your first time checking them out too. But Pablo, if you do remember any of their old stuff, maybe you can share what one of your favorite songs was. I was also going to ask if anyone had seen them live. I'm assuming you guys haven't, but I have seen them live, so I might talk about that in a little bit too. But anyway, here's another song for you guys, and then we'll check out a little more Paramore. We're going to check out some of their old stuff. And yeah, I'll be curious, Daniel. I'll be curious how you feel about some of their old stuff, because it's definitely a bit different. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. This one's called "Let's Start Again." Forgot I need a capo for this one.
Let's take it back just one more time to see if you and I make it right. I don't understand, why do we always have to fight? It's a cycle we go through. You and I are too afraid to lose. It wouldn't be so hard if you would just tell me the truth. You said that this would never end. You told me I was your best friend. I watched us as we fell apart. You are the one who broke my heart. I wanna leave it all behind, but I can't get you off my mind. It's true, I'm still in love with you. And do you think that you could love me too? So let's start again. Let's start again. Let's take it back just one more time. Try to figure out the reason why. Do you feel the same, or are you messing with my mind? I can never understand what's going on inside your head. You could run away, or you could talk to me instead. You said that this would never end. You told me I was your best friend. I watched us as we fell apart. You are the one who broke my heart. And I wanna leave it all behind, but I can't get you off my mind. It's true, I'm still in love with you. And do you think that you could love me too? So let's start it again. You said that this would never end. You told me I was your best friend. I watched us as we fell apart. You are the one who broke my heart. I wanna leave it all behind, but I can't get you off my mind. It's true, I'm still in love with you. And do you think that you could love me too? So let's start again. Let's start again.
Lango. You know, it's kind of funny. after listening to that song and then playing that song, playing Let's Start Again, I'd never noticed this before, but that song almost has like a slight touch of some 70s, 60s kind of stuff. And that's kind of odd because I don't feel like I'm inspired by that, it must be just the tones I'm using. I mean, the tone I'm using right now for this guitar, it's just my neck pickup, and I've just turned the gain down on it or whatever, turn the volume, the tone knob down. And so I kind of use that for my crunch tone. That's kind of my, duct tape solution since I don't have pedals or anything like that. But I think the bass for that song, the recording of that is an old song. So when I recorded the bass, I don't even think it went through a speaker. Like, I know I recorded it directly, and there was a bass amp plugin, but I thought amps had speakers in them, because I had always used combo amps. I didn't realize that they were separate things. And so that's why it kind of has that sort of stringy bass sound a little bit, which works, it sounds fine. But yeah, and then the lead guitar, that's more so inspired by, I call that city lights. There's a style of music. It's sort of this atmospheric kind of alternative rock, kind of like shoegaze stuff, but not entirely. And I don't know, that kind of lead guitar, I like that kind of play. But I don't know, after hearing the Paramore song and then playing that, I was like, wow, this actually, does kind of have a little bit of a 70s vibe to it, even though I was not at all inspired by that. Let's see what's going on with the chat. Yeah, Pablo commented on the song Decode. That's a good song from Paramore, and that's definitely more in line with kind of the Paramore that I know. Or I shouldn't say it like that, not I know, but, the Paramore that I grew up with. Looks like Stan has caught up. Yeah, says awesome. Been a while since I've heard that one. Yeah, Daniel's commenting on that, saying that people have said that some of his stuff sounds like Eddie Van Halen, and he hasn't listened to much Eddie Van Halen. It is interesting how that happens. I wonder if it happens indirectly, where you listen to an artist who was inspired by another artist, and so you are indirectly inspired by the artist that inspired them, if that makes sense. I've had people, what is it? I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a couple bands that people have mentioned. They'll come up to me and they'll be like, hey, this sounds like so-and-so. And I'm like, never heard of them, like never listened to them. I put out one song and people have commented that it sounded kind of like Tool. And while I wouldn't say I'm much inspired by Tool, I do draw a lot of inspiration from Chevelle, and I believe Chevelle draws some inspiration from Tool. So again, maybe it's just kind of an indirect inspiration. Yeah, Pablo says, hoping she'd stay the same, but she's past 30. Maybe it's time to grow up. But I mean, that's kind of an interesting topic because it's like the music we grew up with, is that still just high school music? Is there not a mature version of that kind of music? I don't know. I actually thought a lot of their music, especially, I think their music has definitely gotten more mature over the years and stuff. But yeah, to do something more pop, it kind of feels like maybe they're trying to, like, it definitely feels more mature, but also, I don't know. Yeah, it kind of, I'm trying to think. Like, I think they're authentic to it, so I don't want to say selling out, because it's definitely not, like, trendy. It's not like they're trying to hop on a trend or anything like that. But it does feel like that maybe they're trying to, that's how they feel. Is like, hey, we're grown up now. Our audience is growing up. Let's just make some good music for adults. So maybe that's how they feel. But yeah, pretty much everyone, Pablo, me and you, and everyone our age, our music from our generation, does the music not grow up with us, Like, do the teens these days, when they hear, like, that kind of punk rock from, you know, the mid 2000s or metalcore, do they think like, man, that's adult music, you know? You know, like, I'm not sure. Or does that still sound very, you know, youthful and energetic? You know, I'm not sure. It's an interesting thought. Yep. Daniel commenting on Eric Johnson, and you know, probably, you know, more so than Eddie Van Halen. But so yeah, who knows? It's definitely an interesting topic. All right, we're gonna check out a little more Paramore. Let's see here. Let me bring that screen back up. Here we go. And let me adjust the audio. All right, so yeah, now here's the interesting thing. I don't know. So that's the funny thing about these streams is like I'm never really sure what to expect. So the songs I was planning on checking out, these are two of my favorite songs by Paramore, and I think they will still represent them good. But these are actually B-track songs. So that's kind of the cool thing about Paramore. Somehow they managed to put out a lot of music. Somewhere on YouTube, there's a video that's like just a collection of all their B-tracks, like all the tracks that they didn't release. And it's like enough material for 2 albums, and I think it's just as good, if not better, than the stuff that they actually released. So it's really interesting. So these were like some bonus tracks or some unreleased tracks. These are a couple favorite songs of mine, but they're almost, I'm trying to think. I feel like what they're known for is a little more high energy, and it's still emotional, but it's kind of fun. And then these songs lean more in towards that kind of emotional, emo kind of sound. Like these are definitely, you know, sadder songs or just kind of more mellow songs. Yep, Stan's saying if he likes it, he listens to it. You know, he listens to all kinds of different music, and that's cool. You know, that sometimes I have to remember that too. You know, especially us. You know, anyone who's like a metalhead, which I don't even know if like obviously I love metal, but sometimes the stereotypes of metalheads, I'm not sure that I line up with them. But a lot of times, those of us who are fans of metal, we kind of feel like I can only listen to metal, you know, only blast beats and chugs. Like, that's all I can listen to. And you kind of forget, like, hey, it's okay to enjoy, like, you know, some kind of pop song or some kind of, you know, fun, you know, something that's like the exact opposite of metal. You know, usually metal is like brutal and intense, and it's okay to enjoy like a sweet, fun song if you like it, you know. So yeah, and it's nice having different styles of music too to check out because it kind of goes with whatever mood. You know, for me, I never get sick of metal. You know, yeah, it's just like there's always I can always listen to metal, and there's always some metal artist that can sort of satiate, you know, whatever I'm feeling. But from time to time, you know, it's nice to listen to something different. Like I'll be in a more of a pop mood or like acoustic mood or whatever it might be. Yeah, Pablo's saying when he was 15 and 16, metal and nothing more. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I was the same way. Like, it's like, can't listen to anything, you know. It's not in drop tuning or just not like heavy distorted. I guess it doesn't have to be drop tuning, but. Yeah, true metal and false metal. And, you know, I don't know. There's definitely, like, there's some metal out there that is very. You know, we were kind of talking about this some in the past streams of, you know, incorporating a lot of electronic elements in a way that it's almost like, it's more like pop with metal than it is metal with pop, if that makes sense. And, you know, I can't say I'm a fan of most of that stuff, but I'm not like against it. Like I don't think I'd put it down as like, oh, that's not real metal. You know, it's like if people think it sounds cool, you know, who am I to tell them not to listen to it? You know, so and some people do it well. Some people can incorporate those electronic pop elements into metal, and it still sounds sweet. But I guess there's kind of a percentage of things too, you know? It's like sometimes there's metal with a little bit of other genres, and what seems to be the case nowadays is sometimes it's more like pop with a little bit of metal in there. All right, we're going to check out some old Paramore. This is one of, if not my favorite Paramore song. Like I said, this is a B track. This song is called Circle, and this is more, it's kind of emo, you know? It's kind of alternative rock, punk rock kind of sound. So this is going to be very different than what we just heard. So I'll be curious what you guys think. So here we go. This song's called Circle. It should play. An ad might come up. We'll see. Yeah. Skip this. There we go. All right. Yeah. I love this song. Kind of do this key change going into the chorus, if I remember correctly. Right here. I just like how, like, these are just really pretty chords, really pretty melodies. But it's got that bit of drive, you know, from the rock, from the distorted guitars and the, which they've actually got. Actually, might be the bass that's more distorted. The guitars are kind of clean, but it's got that drive from rock, you know, that rock drive. I like that little bass line there. There's some cool elements, like you can hear some like guitar layers. Daniel's commenting, yeah, it does sound quite different than the newer song. Reminds me of another band, would prefer this more. Yep. And this bridge here. It's pretty, it's emotional, but it's got that drive. That's what I like. Stan comments, a little like Avril Lavigne. I could hear some of that, but I think Avril's music, she's got a few kind of emotional songs like this one, but I think hers is maybe a little more angsty, you know, most of her stuff. Daniel agrees, though. But I do agree. Definitely has some Avril Lavigne kind of feel to it. But hopefully y'all can see what I mean by that kind of emo sound a little bit. This is this is, I think, a pretty good representation of what Paramore's older stuff sounded like. Now, keep in mind, they did have more upbeat songs that were a bit more punkish, you know, kind of, just a lot more drive to it. This is more of a, just kind of a ballad sort of emotional song. But I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there, especially musically. Like, it's beautiful, but the drums are doing some cool things. There's these interesting guitar layers, and I like some cool stuff with the bass too. That's kind of unique. And I love me some good key changes. You know, you can hear the key changes when it goes into the chorus. I just think that has such a cool effect. And so I think from a song like that, you can almost hear those kind of chord progressions and those kind of melodies are definitely very influential to me and the kind of sounds that I like. But so that's kind of a taste of old Paramore. The next song, again, I picked out these songs. I don't know. I tell you what, if you think that sounds cool, y'all might have to explore on your own. Check out some Paramore. I would recommend probably the go-to. They put out an album back in 2007 called Riot. That's probably their classic album. That's like what they're known for. That's the one where they really blew up. So I think that's a good place to start. If you want like an introduction to Paramore, then check out their album Riot. But like I said, they have a lot of B tracks like this that I think sound, you know, just as good, if not better, than the stuff they released on their albums. But Riot was good, and then the album they put out in 2009, I can't remember the name of it right now, but that was a good album too. So that's a good place to start if you want to check out some more Paramore for yourselves. And the reason I say that is because I don't have any like of their upbeat punk rock songs. I have one more song we're going to check out by them, but it's kind of another soft song. Now, it's a little different than this one. This one, has a little more drive. The other one is more of a, you'll know when you hear it. It's kind of more of like a sweet, like not acoustic, but kind of, I don't know. It's just a sweet song. So the next one's called Adore. We're going to check that out. So here we go. Now, I have seen Paramore live, and they were very good live. Here we go. This song's called Adore. I'll talk about seeing them live in a little bit.
I don't mean to run, but every time you come around, I feel more alive.
Now that Stan mentions it, this one, might have that kind of Avril Lavigne feel as well. Which is funny, because I didn't really get into Avril Lavigne till later. Even though Avril Lavigne was around in the late 90s, early 2000s, I got into Paramore before I got into Avril Lavigne. So I'm saying this like as someone who just recently got into Avril Lavigne, like, oh yeah, they do kind of sound the same. Kind of go to a cool chord here. That's what I like about Paramore, is they write these like catchy pop songs, but they use a lot of interesting chords and melodies. It's not like super lazy. It's not lazy writing, you know. It's really well written stuff. But like I said, I don't think this song was released. You know, I think this was a B track. Like, I don't even think it was a bonus track on an album or anything. I'm not even sure how I came across it. I discovered it on YouTube somehow. I was like, what the heck? This is a really good song. I like this bridge. Again, they kind of do like a key change here. Or they at least just went to that minor chord, sounded really good. I'm gonna look up one more song real quick, just because I kind of feel bad that you guys aren't familiar. Sorry, ad. I kind of feel bad that let's see, that you guys aren't really familiar with Paramore, and the songs I had picked out, I was sort of anticipating that maybe some Paramore fans would show up, and you know, maybe there's a chance that maybe they wouldn't be as familiar with their B-track stuff. So that was kind of the mindset behind choosing those two songs. But now that I picked them, you know, if I was going to introduce someone to Paramore, I don't know if those are the first two songs, you know, even though I love those songs. But Daniel says sounds good as well. Yep. Again, those are kind of soft. I just want to show y'all one more song. I think this is a good one. This one kind of represents like, this was the sound that Paramore was known for. So this is a song called Crush, Crush, Crush. And it's kind of a fun, you know, has more of like a pop punk rock kind of sound, you know, definitely more upbeat song. But this is probably a better representation of like what they actually sound like. I'm pretty sure this song was on Rock Band or Guitar Hero or something. This was definitely a favorite of mine to play. You can see here, it looks like they're a 4-piece, which now they're just a 3-piece. Fun little guitar lead here. A little bit of that disco rhythm, but definitely more of a, you know, kind of a punk-driven kind of beat, you know. So just a good, catchy song, fun and upbeat. As far as lineup changes go, Haley has been there since the beginning, and I think the drummer and one of the guitarists, or in this case, probably the guitarist, I think they're all original members. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure the 3 of them were original members, and when they first started, they had 2 others, and then I think it was more so that the 2 left. I don't think they really swapped anyone out, but which is pretty cool. And actually, one thing I heard, Haley's actually really cool because you can see she's got a lot of star power, and so the industry wanted to kind of make her a solo artist, but she was very insistent on having her friends come along with her. You know, they were friends, I think, growing up, and you know, wrote music together, and she did a lot to take them with her in her journey. Now, at some point, I think, you know, when they did disband, I don't know the details and stuff. I don't think there was any bad blood. Maybe a little bit of, what's the word? Artistic conflict or whatever in terms of what they wanted to do with their careers and their music. So I think they did split for a while. And for a while, Haley did have some solo stuff. I don't know if she's still doing that solo stuff. But I thought that was really cool to hear because it does happen a lot. A band like this comes, and it's funny because here's what I always think is whenever there's a band like this and you have a great vocalist, like don't get me wrong, they're in the spotlight for sure, and they probably contribute to the lyrics, but I'm always like, I don't think they write the actual music, Like these catchy songs are not coming from the lead vocalist. They're coming from like the guitarist or whatever. And that's what always bugs me because then when they take the lead vocalist and try to do this solo career, their music is almost never as good. And it's because they don't have the guy that was writing the good songs or whatever, So that's kind of the funny thing. So it just, but kudos to Haley for kind of fighting for her friends and kind of like, no, they're sticking with me. And I think for a long time that worked, and then at some point it did kind of split off, and they kind of went separate ways for a bit. But now it looks like they're trying to do something. And I'll have to double check for sure. I am pretty certain that the current lineup, what we watched, the newer song, I'm pretty certain that it is 3 of the original members, but I could be wrong. It might be like just 2 of them and then like a new guitarist or something like that. But I did see, like, even though I didn't go into looking into things, I did see like, my eye caught like some posts on social media and stuff. And just from the look of the pictures, it looked like it was the 3 of them, the original 3. Yep. Yeah, other members and stuff. And from what I've heard, I don't know if this is the case for every band, but I think a lot of times there is one like core member that kind of writes everything, and then maybe the others contribute. Like maybe the drummer, kind of comes up with specific ideas for the song, and maybe the vocalist writes the lyrics. But I think usually there is just one person who's kind of the core writer, and but just because that person's the core writer doesn't necessarily mean that they have the star power that someone else have. Usually it's the vocalist. Sometimes it's the drummer. Sometimes it's, the bassist or something, or the lead guitarist, something like that. But, yeah, I never really get that. The industry always looks at, who has the star power. They never look at, like, who's writing the good songs. So, kind of weird. But anyway, guys, yeah, so that's Paramore. So if that intrigues you, if you're kind of digging what we heard today, definitely check out their stuff. That last song I played, that's from their 2007 album Riot, and that's probably the best representation of like, when someone thinks Paramore, that's probably the kind of song that they sort of think. But you can hear they have kind of a wide range of sounds. They have kind of those softer, kind of sweeter songs, and then and now they've kind of been going. Now, to their credit, they're going more of a pop sound, but even when they've gone pop, it's been more like old pop, like they did 80s. That's why I think it's kind of funny, because the last album they did was 80s pop, and now this new song is 70s. So it's like, wow, are they just planning to go back? Like, in a couple of years, are they going to put out 60s, and then a couple of years put out 50s or something like that? They're just going to keep going backwards. Be kind of interesting, but so yeah, that's Paramore. I did get to see them live once. And they were great. I got to see them with Relient K, so that was a really good show. And I want to say, man, I'm trying to remember who else was there. I'll have to look back. I'll have to go back on Facebook and see if I have like some posts from back when that happened. But yeah, I remember it was Relient K and Paramore. And it was actually kind of a funny story, because I remember my friends were like, hey, we're going to go see Paramore. Do you want to come? And Paramore was coming into our town at the John Paul Jones Arena. That's the name of sort of probably the biggest stadium, biggest arena that we have kind of locally that big acts will come to perform at. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I might come. And it was literally like last minute. It was either like the day before or something like that. But I was like, I guess I'll get tickets. And so I was looking online, and I'd never really been to many shows. I hadn't bought many tickets, and so I was looking for tickets, and it said, you know, floor tickets. Like there were tickets to get on the floor, and I was like, okay, that sounds good. So I bought that. And sure enough, I go to the show, and like I bought my tickets last minute, but I was on the floor like right in front of the stage, and all my friends were in the seats. They were like, "What the heck?" You know, like they were all like way out of view, just watching things from a distance. I was like on the floor up front, you know, nice and close to the band. At the end of the show, I do remember there was this this girl. I don't know how we got to talking a bit, but she was on the floor with me, and we talked a little bit throughout the show, and then at the end of the show, the drummer threw out his sticks, and we caught it, and I think we both kind of caught it, and I ended up letting her have it, but we got a picture together, so I got a picture with the drummer's stick, but I didn't get to keep it. I let the girl keep it. So, but I remember it being a really good show. It was a lot of fun. They put on a good performance, and yeah, you know, definitely nothing to complain about, but it's just kind of funny. Like I don't know if I got lucky or something, or if my friends just didn't. You know, I'm not sure how they weren't able to get those kind of tickets, but yeah, that was a good show. All right, guys, I'm going to play one more song for you. And, yeah, thanks, yeah. Let me get my guitar tuned here. And again, for this... All right, for this particular stream, since so the last stream went well. I reacted to what was it? Starset, which Starset is probably a little more in line with my style of music. I wasn't familiar with Starset; it was my first time checking them out, but I've since learned that they're kind of an alternative metal sort of sound, which some of my songs have kind of that alternative metal sound. Now, I definitely would not say that my stuff sounds just like Starset. I would say we're in the ballpark, but not necessarily on the same ends of the field, you know, if that makes sense. So kind of like, but the cool thing about that was some Starset fans came out to see the show or to watch the stream, and they ended up enjoying some of my music too. So that was really cool. And so I was kind of anticipating that Paramore fans might come out to this stream. And so I was trying to pick songs from my vocabulary that they might enjoy. So yeah, all my songs for this stream have been, you know, kind of softer ones, and I'm going to end with a softer song too. So no heavy ones for this stream. But yeah, this is going to be my last song. But I definitely appreciate you guys kind of tuning in and hanging out. Always glad when you can hang out, Daniel, and I'm excited for you getting to go to Alaska and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to dive into this last song here. Stan, Pablo, if you're still out there, let me know. And let me know if, you know, who have you guys seen live? Have you guys been to many live shows, and what were some that you enjoyed? And if you have any fun stories from a live show, I think I do feel like I've probably asked that question before, and Daniel, I do think I recall you telling a pretty cool story, or I might be mixing that up. Maybe it was a different question, and that led to a cool story. But here we go. This is going to be my last song for the evening. This one is called "Love's Not Fair."
Staring at my own reflection through shattered bits of glass, showing me the perfect picture of who I really am. But when you look at me, you never turn away, kneeling next to me and picking up the pieces. Why do you care? I know I'm undeserving of the chosen to share. It's just not fair. I am such a useless failure, fallen to the ground. Every effort that I muster is never good enough. But when you look at me, standing next to me and holding out your hand, why do you care? I know I'm undeserving of the love that you have chosen to share. It's just not fair. If I take just one moment away from my self-loathing, then maybe I would notice that I'm not meant to be broken. If I'd take just one moment away from my self-loathing, then maybe I would notice that I'm not meant to be broken. So stop beating up myself. You took the punishment yourself. And it's just foolish pride to think that I could ever hurt myself enough to cover what I've done. I could cut myself dry and it still would never be enough. It makes no sense at all. Why do you care? I know I'm undeserving of the love that you have chosen to share. It's just not fair. But love isn't fair. In spite of all I am, you chose to die for me, and that isn't fair. But love's not fair. Thank you. Let's see. Thanks. I'll drop by next week if I'm not doing anything. Cool. Yeah. If you're still on vacation next week and you could stop by, great. But if not, no worries. I hope you just enjoy your vacation. Daniel says he's seen quite a few, had some cool encounters. Good song, very calming. Thank you. Yeah. Glad. Glad you think so. Yeah, I wrote that one a few years ago. It's actually kind of funny because let's see, obviously I'm doing metal, writing a lot of metal and stuff, and there's a couple things with that. Yes, it's fun to write heavy songs, but I also don't want to, put myself in a corner with my style of music. I don't want to be known for just kind of one thing. I want to try to establish early on that that there's kind of a wide dynamic range of sound, and it should all be very cohesive, but it's kind of like, here's what I sound like when I play something soft, and here's what it sounds like when I play something heavy, and then here's everything in between. So it's definitely nice to have like those softer songs just to establish that kind of early on as I'm releasing music. And then that particular song, so I at my church, a lot of times we before
COVID and all that happened, when we had normal services, a lot of times people would share special songs. And I'd share every now and then, and whenever I could, I liked, I would share some original songs, but it was kind of funny. Sometimes I would always try to pick songs that just really meant something to me. And so, in a way, when I sing them, it's just a song I really connect with, and so I guess I'm singing it. I don't know how to phrase this, but it doesn't really sound like a cover. It just sounds like I'm just singing, and so a lot of times people would come up and be like, "That was great. Did you write that?" And I'd be like, "No, I didn't write it." And so I kind of thought, man, it'd be nice to write a song that I could do in church, but all I have are these metal songs. I'm writing metal, and I'm not sure they'd want me to kind of show up. I mean, some people Stan might enjoy that, but. Not sure everyone will. And I actually have played metal for my church before. I've done. Back in the day when me and my friends were doing teen talent and stuff, we've performed songs together and we've done metal songs. So I definitely have done that before, but I wanted to do something that they would enjoy, but that I could also, use in my discography. And so I wanted to write a song like that. So that's a song that I can perform it with just an acoustic guitar, but as you can hear, there are those other instruments that come in, and it's basically just a soft metal song, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the story behind that one, at least. But Daniel, always appreciate you tuning in. Not totally sure where everyone else is gone. I feel like it could be internet connections or whatever's happened, but it looks like Pablo and Stan might be gone. But if y'all are still out there, appreciate you guys too. Always enjoy hanging out with y'all, and glad y'all could tune in for the reaction. And to anyone watching now or on the replay, thank you so much. If you'd like to support me, there's a link in the description to a virtual tip jar, and I certainly appreciate anything that you can contribute. If you don't have the financial means to support me, my biggest goal right now is building an audience. So what really helps is, inviting people to the streams, sharing my videos, sharing my music, liking the video, subscribing, and especially joining my email list so that I can notify you, whenever I have a new song release or a new video or whatever it might be. There's a link in the description where you can sign up for my email list. That really helps. But guys, I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Daniel, I hope you have an awesome vacation, definitely well-deserved. Just enjoy it and make the best of it. Hope you all have a good evening or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Until next time.